Hey man, how you doing?
For a target for NAS to reach Tuesday or the coming days. Um, and honestly, who really knows?
Hey, what's up, guys? Let me share the screen. All right, good morning, guys. Today is Tuesday, July 18th, and market is about to open. So right now, to be honest with you, I'm sitting on my hands today, and the only trade I'm in is a US 30 sell that I'd entered last Friday based off of break and retest of the 9 EMA, so somewhere around here. So this is the only sell, and I'm in drawdown right now for that trade. I think I'm in with a 200 pip stop, and yeah, so I'm still in this trade right here. I was based off of the 1 hour trend. I'm sorry, yeah, 1 hour break and retest. That's the only trade I'm in. I'm not looking to scale in. So going ahead to review this entries, looking at US 30, you can see we are trapped between these two trend lines to the upside, right? So this is the hourly trend line. We have this trend line to the upside, this trend line to the downside. So for me to I'm definitely looking to enter a sell on US 30, again, based off of this crosses indicator on the 15-minute time frame. So yesterday I did mention, right? So this is because I did send out a message in the group. So we had this sell right here. The reason I'm really looking for a sell on US 30 based off of this crosses indicator, right? You ask yourself, when was the last death cross that materialized, right? If we look back, we see here there was just a bunch of fake outs. So here you could have been trapped in a sell and a buy, so break even, sell and a buy, break even, and then a buy that would have went straight into profit. But this death cross never materialized. So we look back, when was the last death cross that actually worked out for US 30? That was on Wednesday, 5th July, and that is how long ago? Wednesday, 5th July, close to 2 weeks ago. So when US 30 does drop, it will be a nice drop. So yesterday I did say, right, you could have taken this sell, but I also mentioned to also, if a buy does form, to go ahead and enter the buy too, so that you can end up at break even. So keep in mind, I do have a challenge that I'm using to take only the original crosses on the 15-minute time frame and the 1 hour. So yesterday, right, when this sell showed up, immediately after we had some, so this is again what you don't want in the market. But again, the best thing about this indicator, worst case, you'll end up at break even. So you could have entered this buy. Unfortunately, I was away from my computer and my trade copier did not catch this buy. So unfortunately, I had to take this L. So on this challenge that I'm doing on this, it's a 100K challenge. Right now, I am down. It's at 98K because unfortunately, my trade copier didn't take that buy. But anyway, so what I'm waiting for is the next sell on US 30 on the 15-minute time frame, and I'll literally do the same thing. I'll take the sell, hopefully, right? Because you see, not every time do you get that consolidation, because sometimes you just get, like the last time we had a death cross, we really didn't have a consolidation, like, so you wouldn't have gotten locked into a position. So this trade would have gone straight into TP. So that's exactly what I'm waiting for, because the last time price attempted to do a death cross on the 15-minute time frame, we had consolidation, and you would have broke even and then made money on the buys. So I'm waiting on the sell on US 30 based off of this indicator, and hopefully that will take automatically on my account. But anyway, so going back to the general analysis, US 30 is trapped between this trend line to the upside, to the downside. If we look at the trend settings right here in the indicator, and we turn on the trend channel right here, you'll see that we are in an uptrend for US30. So price is currently trapped between the green zone and the red zone. So again, I'm not looking to do anything with US30 right now. So if US30 does go up, right, the target would be, so for a buy, anyway, right now I don't have any confluences, to be honest with you guys. So for me, a confluence for a sell, since that's what I'm waiting for, I would want to see a break of this hourly trend line, a retest and closure below, and at that point I can look for a nice sell entry. But for any buys, buys would again be the opposite, right? So if this trend line is broken to the upside and an hourly candle closes above, and then we get the next hourly candle to retest this trend line and close above, and then that's the only time I would enter a buy. But until then, I do expect a bunch of fake outs because we are in the middle of a trend. Also, we don't have any order blocks around there, around where price is at. So we just have the 30-minute and 15-minute, and just by themselves, I really don't like trading them. And also they're so close to each other such that they just cancel out. And if we turn on the zones indicator, right, we have sellers here, we have buyers here. So not a lot of information given by that, especially by missing any order blocks. If we look at the breakout scanner for US30, you can even tell, even on the 15-minute, right, US30 has just been consolidating because you can see all of this chop back and forth. Yeah, so I don't have anything to trade for US30. Gold is the other one. I don't have anything else to trade for gold. You can see gold is trapped between is trapped along this trend line. So this trend line, if we trace it back, it came from here, and you can see this trend line has been holding. So it's acting as a price magnet for now. Now, for me, for gold, this was the ideal buy area for gold. So I did take profit on my sales from last week, which brought me up about, I'm up about 6% for the week, just for the trades I entered on Monday. I'm sorry, on Friday. So for gold, the only buy that would have been there would have been the break and retest of this trend line right here. So you see this candle right here. As soon as gold broke from this trend line to the downside, right? So if it breaks a downtrending trend line, ideally that means price is heading up. So it broke up and then broke into this other trend line. So the worst thing is to trade when price is around two trend lines. But here, if you're looking for a buy, what would you wait for? You'd wait for a closure above this trend line, a retest and closure above, which would have been given by this, I think they call it a doji or whatever they call it, by this candle right here. And if you entered that buy, you can see price spiked all the way up. But right now, gold to me is in a dangerous region. The reason for that, if you look back, gold has been trending and stuck between what, 1961, no, 1964 and 1940, I'll call it 50 area. So gold has been trending for the longest. Now, one reason for that was because we did have a daily, let me turn this off. We did have a daily bearish lows, daily bearish high somewhere around here, 1960. So that was one of the reasons, one of the major reasons why I had entered the sell, and it eventually hit TP. But right now, because they broke above the daily bearish high, to be honest, right now, I'm more bullish on gold. So if I'm bullish on gold, I just missed, well, I missed the buy entry because I didn't take that buy based off of the break and retest. But because I missed it, I don't see any other entry that gold can give me before then. So right now, I'm going to ask myself, where is gold likely to head? So just by looking at the 1 hour time frame, there's this trend line to the upside. So I do expect gold to hit 1988, 1990 area. Now, that's the area for me. At that point, then I would start looking for sells on gold, because right now, unfortunately, based off of how I trade, I don't have any confluences to trade gold. Now, I can use probably the breakout scanner and catch a position, probably using that. So let's see, gold. So I would be looking for a buy using the breakout scanner on gold. So let's see if it is there right now, then I would enter it. But you can see right now, right? The buy, so the breakout scanner is telling me I gave you a buy entry. What is this? 218. So breakout scanner is telling me I gave you a buy entry 10 hours ago. So right now the breakout scanner is really not helping me with anything for gold. The crosses indicator, and it's fine if US30 wants to keep pumping up. I would rather it keep pumping up because I know when that reversal comes, I'm sorry, when that sell entry comes off of the crosses indicator, it will be a nice entry. Now, the crosses indicator did give us a buy right here on gold. However, for me, the way I trade the crosses indicator, the first 4 entries are highly probable. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this might be that entry, the 4th entry right there. Let's see. For me, I do 100 pips TP and stop loss for gold. I'm sorry, I did it the opposite thing. Long position. This buy. Yeah, so it would still be in the entry area. Give me 1 second. That's US30. Okay. I will enter this trade right here based off of the crosses indicator. Let me see what risk I want to use for that trade. And also when this candle closes, let me see how this candle closes. We have 4 minutes till the closure of this candle, because this can be a bullish hammer candle, but I will re-enter this trade 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss for this particular trade. Also, I will use a 1% risk for this trade. So it does align with the bullish confluence or trade right here. Yeah, so we need, or I need, where is that particular candle right here? So I need this 15-minute candle to close right here, and it closes in 3 minutes. So I will take this trade with a 1% risk. So I know we haven't had a trade in the live session for a minute, but this is that trade that I will take. So I'm not in the trade yet. I just put it where it was supposed to be. So I'm re-entering this trade, but I need this 15-minute candle to close. I'll just set up my trade copier. So this should be that. If you want a safer, I mean, 100 pip stop loss is a huge stop loss for gold. If you want a safer stop loss, you can adjust it to be below the 200 DMA. But where it is right now is a good area for it. So I'm doing 1%. So let me put this in my trade manager. Okay, so 2 more minutes before I re-enter this trade. And actually, let me put it this way, because this is the original trade right there. So this is the trade I'll be entering it. I'll be entering. This other one is the old trade, that the 4th trade, right? Because when we have, if I bring the strategies for the crosses indicator, right? First 3 to 4 trades, including the original cross, are most probable. So this first buy, original cross, would have hit full TP. Second buy, full TP. Third buy, full TP. Now this is the 4th buy right here. But I want this 15-minute candle to close. I would love it to close as a bullish hammer candle. So that's the reason why I'm waiting for this candle to close. So we have a minute for that. So let's see what else. Oh, US 30 just pumped. So watch out for US 30 at this zone. So nowadays, that's how I trade. If I miss a move, I just anticipate, right? Where is a instrument likely to head? So US 30 is definitely or more than likely going to touch whatever this is around 34,755 region. So we have about 50 pips to go. And if we turn on the zones indicator, you can see it cleared all these cells right here, these sellers. So this is why I normally say, don't trade the zones just by themselves, right? For you to trade the zones, right, make sure you have other confluences. Make sure there's a high time frame order block around there. Make sure you're using all the other indicators, because right now these sellers right here are just getting wiped. Because as much as they're sellers, they really don't have, for example, like an order block to use to hold their sells. So right now they're just getting wiped out by the buys. Let's see this gold. I don't know if it closed. Where is that indicator? Okay. Didn't trade how, or didn't take how I wanted it to be, but I'll go ahead and enter this trade. So for me with this trade, I do see a 70% probability. So I'm in the trade right now. I thought I just clicked the buy. Okay. Oh, I entered 2 buys. That's fun. Yeah, so I'm in this trade right now with a 1% risk. I'll close out one of the buys because there was a delay with my execution. Okay, let's see what else we have. EU. For this EU trade, I was trading a reversal. So I remember I got stopped out on the 5-minute time frame last week. I also got stopped out on the 15-minute time frame for EU. So right now I'm looking also for a reversal on EU on the 30-minute time frame. I'm not sure I'm gonna get an entry for that. But if I don't get any entry, then it's all good. But I did get stopped out of two time frames last week, the 5 and the 15-minute time frames. But I don't see anything on EU currently as well. So this is the only trade right now. This gold buy right here. So currently for the month of July, we are only up 1%. I know I haven't really sent out trades for the last few days. I know I was sick the couple of days this month. I was also on vacation. So, but we're still up 1% based off of the trades that I've sent either in the Discord or on the live session. Does anybody have any questions as we wait on how gold will play out?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about the cross indicator. So like I was back texting and I saw that sometimes like when you take a trade, for example, you were saying that if there is a sell signal on the 15 minutes on US 30, you take it. If there is the buy signal, you also take it.
Yeah.
So it means at that point, maybe these trades will be at break even. But when I was back testing, I saw that sometimes it can hit like both stop loss.
Yes. No, it definitely can. I know one of them. Yeah, go ahead.
It's because to be at break even, it means that we must take the trades at the same level. But as the signal don't come at the same level, when I was back testing, I saw that where sometimes it can hit like both stop loss. But
yeah, no, that is true. Now, the other question is, right, and you're definitely right. There are times it will hit both stop losses, but it's very rare. It also depends on how large your take profit is, or how large your take profit and stop loss is, which is why when I trade using the crosses indicator, I will trade with a 200 pip TP and stop loss. If you use a 100 pip TP and stop loss, you can definitely get taken out of 2 positions. Now, not to say that 200 pip TP you can't, but you're more likely to get stopped out of 2 locked positions if you use 100 pip stop loss and TP. The reason for that is for US30 to move 200 pips. Okay, let me put it this way. It's easy for US30 to move 100 pips up and then come back and move 100 pips down. But if you think about it, it would, if it hits the stop loss from, let's say you, okay, let me put it this way. This is a sell, right? So if and I know the markups I have here are based off of 200 pips TP and stop loss, but let me use this to probably mark it up to probably explain better. Now, US30, if this was a sell, yes, it can go 100 pips this way. If your stop loss was 100 pips and hit stop loss of 100 pips, and then can go, and then let's say you got a buy right here, and then US30 comes back and hits the stop loss for the buy for the 100 pips. But this distance from this stop loss to this stop loss is ideally 200, around 200 pips. The idea here is that for US30 to push up in a trend, it's like 200 pips and above. So that means for you to get stopped out of a 200 pips stop loss on US30 for both a buy and a sell, US30 would have to reverse for 400 pips to stop you out for through the next position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the reason for me, I use 200 pips. And you can see here, yesterday, this sell, yes, would have hit stop loss, but as much as this buy would have been a little bit far away from this sell. And the reason for that was because this was market open. But normally if it wasn't market open and if it still hammered a buy, it would still be around the sell area. Does that make sense? So like here, for example, you see how this sell and buys are so close together. This is because there wasn't any volatility in the market, meaning that it wasn't market open. So at these entries, the sell and the buys were around the same area, but eventually this would, both of these trades, both of these 2 sets of trades would have been at break even, and I did trade them, and that's why I was at break even too at that point. But yeah, but the only time the sells and the buys will be a little bit distant from each other is during market open. But even then, if you have a 200 pip stop loss and TP, you will get what is it? You will get break even at some point. So you can see how this buy would have hit TP. If I did get filled in, my account value would still be at 100K, but unfortunately my account didn't copy the buy. Yeah, so that's the issue. Not the issue. The best thing about this indicator, worst case, you'll end up at break even. Best case, you will it will take you like maybe 4 winning trades for you to hit your phase 1 challenge. So for this one, for this particular account that I'm copying, each trade is worth 2%, or I'm going in with 2% risk, and I'm only copying the original crosses of the 15-minute time frame and of the hourly time frame. So because we also back tested the hourly time frame, and the hourly time frame, you can see this would have been full TP. I would have, if I had started the challenge way back, this would have been an easy 2%, another 2%, and I would be waiting now for the sell entry. Not to say, right, I could have taken the secondary entries, but once you, as much as this would have hit full TP, all this buys right here, right, by back testing, I would rather just stick to the original crosses. It might take me like a month to finish phase 1, but right, what's the hurry for? Yeah, but to cut the long story short, it also, right, make sure your TP and you make sure you've back tested with a favorable TP and stop loss. I would say if you're not comfortable using a 200 pip stop loss on US30, at the very least use a 100 pip TP and stop. 150 pip TP and stop loss. Gold is in profit right now. I'll go ahead and close just one position. So keep in mind, the reason I'm closing one position is because I entered twice because there was a delay. So I don't want to be over leveraging. But gold is currently in profit right now. So this trade, again, 1% risk. and we'll just let it play out. Any other questions, or anybody else has any other questions? There goes US 30, right? Exactly to that trend line. So again, right now I wouldn't be trading US 30. The reason for that is, what is my my requirements for trading a trend line? For me to trade a trend line, I have to wait for a break and retest. So even though this hourly candle closes above this trend line to the upside, I would have to wait for the next hourly candle to retest and hopefully close above. And at that point, yes, I can enter a buy. And actually, we
You
might.
only trade trend lines on the hourly?
Do I only trade trend lines on the hourly? Yes. I stopped drawing trend lines on the 5-minute. Not that they actually work, but for me, when I was drawing trend lines on the 5-minute, I had to draw like 1,000 trend lines, quote unquote. So for me,
No,
it's just
what I'm
easier.
saying is, if you okay, so let's say you draw the trend lines on the hourly, they're still gonna respect the 5-minute as well. So what
Yes.
I'm saying is, that's what I mean. Would you go on a lower time frame for entry, or you just strictly stick to the hourly?
I strictly stick to the hourly. The reason for that is you might get, okay, so right here, you might get a buy on the 5-minute time frame where US 30 currently is. But this hourly candle, depending on how big your TP and stop loss is. So remember, my TP and stop loss for US 30 is 200 pips. So you might get a buy on the 5-minute. However, this hourly candle or hourly trend line, I'm sorry, this hourly candle closes below, let me use the other one. This hourly candle closes below that hourly trend line. And then, so let me put it this way. This hourly candle, let's say, closes below, and then the next candle opens up, retests, closes below, and then US 30 dips back down, if that makes sense. So for me, I would rather wait for the hourly time frame. The 5-minute, the best thing with using a lower time frame, it can give you an early entry. But also the kryptonite to that too is, as much as it can give you an early entry, it can make you buy the highs and sell the lows.
All right, let's see. All right.
Yeah.
I was saying 15-minute, but not even that. Just stick to the hourly. I got you.
Yeah. And 15-minute is also definitely better than 5-minute. And there goes US 30. So for me right now, I'm sitting on my hands for US 30, but I do anticipate for price to stick to this trend line and have some type of reaction. Unfortunately, right, nothing. We don't have anything up here. Yeah, so I'll just wait for US 30. Gold should follow through too. Gold should head up this way to around that zone. And
So for all your US 30 trades, you do 200 now?
yes, yeah. Because mostly I've transitioned to be a swing, whatever, intraday trader and swing trader. So I do 200.
Gotcha.
EU is testing a trend line as well. So you can see where this trend line came from. This trend line came all the way from the bottom through there. And you can see EU is also testing out a trend line also on the hourly. So this is why for me today, I don't see any other trades other than this gold trade. US 30, there might be, based off of how it's pumped up, I think there might be an entry on the breakout scanner, or probably not. Let's see. Gold is up, what is that, 68? Gold is up 30 pips profit on gold. Yeah, so US 30, this was one of the early entries. If I had seen this, I could have taken it because it was headed, jeez, it is what it is. Because it was headed to, what was that, 34,755, because we expected it to head there. I don't know if anybody with the breakout scanner caught this, but this was a nice trade for US 30. Fortunately, you missed that. I don't know why the values are not working, but and it is, if price does come back down there. So remember, right? All my strategies, the best entry. So this would have been an impulse entry. I'll just leave it there. I'm not sure why the inputs are not working. Am I missing something? Anyway, so remember the best entries for any of my strategies is to wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. So here I do anticipate US 30 to retest the 9 EMA, which is this yellow line on the 15-minute time frame for a better entry. So if US 30 is to keep pumping up, probably it should retest the 9 EMA. Question is, will it retest the 9 EMA before it hits full TP or after? But I'll go ahead and monitor this. If we do get that retest of the 9 EMA, that might be a buy entry for US 30. And there goes gold, almost at 50% profit. I do anticipate this to hit full TP. Also, right, I know some people have like what, 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss. For me, this is just 100 pips TP and stop loss. So remember, right, always look at where your stop loss can be, right? Stop loss could have been below the low of this previous candle, 15-minute candle. So that could have given you a 68, a 50 pips TP or stop loss, or 50 pips stop loss. For me, I just do wider stop losses and TPs nowadays. But there goes gold. All right, any questions? So there goes, right? So right now for US 30, what do we anticipate? So since it broke and closed above this trend line, we do anticipate a retest of this trend line. Doesn't have to be with this candle right here, but it can be, right? So if we do get a retest, what we would want to see for buys on the hourly is retest and closure above. And at that point, you can enter a buy. Gold is pumping up heavily. For a sell on US 30, same thing, right? You would have to then wait for an hourly candle to close below this trend line, and then you'd wait for another hourly candle to retest and close below. And at that point, you would enter a sell targeting the bottom of this trend line. So this would be 774. This would be like a 200 pip move. So that's how I normally trade nowadays. I do take fewer trades nowadays, but right, waiting for these confirmations gives you like such a high probability. We missed this entry on US 30, but luckily we are up. Did anybody enter this buy on gold? We are up nicely on this gold buy. So I'm up. So since this is a 200K account, I'm up 1,000, 1,200-ish or some sort. So just waiting for that final TP to hit. What else? What else? There goes US 30. Oh, this thing is on fire. And unfortunately, I got stopped out of that trade that I was telling you guys about. So best case scenario, I ended today with break even, because I did tell you guys I had a sell right here, 497, and that just got stopped out because my stop loss was 697. Gold is pumping still. So also keep in mind, right? Also while trading gold, check on the, because I told you guys, based on the technicals, gold was supposed to drop because we had this daily bearish high here that should have superseded any other buying pressure right there. But thinking about it right now, if you guys have been watching the news, you might have seen that Ukraine took down, I forgot, let me see. Ukraine, Russian bridge. Yeah, so Ukraine bombed one of Russia's key bridges, so this one right here. Now, you do expect, right? So in terms of, so this is why I always talk about journaling, because I remember when this war first broke out, gold literally popped to the upside, and all I was doing was selling, and I just got burned. So during times of war or whatever this is called, uncertainty in the markets, you normally expect capital to move to safe havens. Gold is one of the most common safe havens. So as much as right, it's war and it's pretty sad to see all of this happening, but you do expect some sort of retaliation from Russia. So what this would lead to, right, volatility in markets. So stuff like gold, right, rising in value. So for me, this rise on gold is being pushed by fundamentals as opposed to technicals. Let's see if we're gonna get this 1% today. Any questions from anyone? Let's see. Sweet gold, yeah. And looking, so
Your
if
TP is
we
at 78.
my TP is at, I tell you, my TP is at 78.98. 78.98,
Oh, okay.
78.98.
I
So
got it in the
ideally,
worst.
yeah,
I entered a little later than you. I'm at, yeah, so I'm at 80.
yeah. It should, yeah. So the target here is 88. So that's the target for gold, because we are in this zone right now. And also, if now we turned on this channels settings right here, we should be in a green zone on the hourly time frame. Yeah, so this is what I like to see, right? So we're in an uptrend on the hourly time frame. Price is in this green zone right now and actually about to break above that green zone. So we just need some more volume and we should keep pumping up. Oh, US 30 is moving. Oh well, we'll catch it next time, hopefully. So let's see what else is breaking
You
out.
don't think that Ukraine thing is doing that to US 30 either, or
It should. I forget how US 30 moved. Let me look at my journal. I forget how US 30 moves in times of uncertainty. Let me look at the journal that I had written. If I'm not wrong, US 30 should be dropping, but let me confirm with the journal. Trading lessons. But right now with US 30, it's ideally because the sellers are just being wiped. There's nothing for the sellers to use on right there for your, where was this? In case of threat of war, Russia versus Ukraine, gold goes up, indices fall. Yeah, so US 30. So here's the other thing to keep in mind about US 30. So one thing I've noticed, for the last 3 years that I've been trading US 30 daily, US 30 goes up between the last 3 months of the year, because ideally they want the markets to close higher, so that people can have a good end of the year, if that makes sense, right? Because if you have a 401k, right, at the end of the year, you would want to see some growth. So one thing I definitely know about US 30, it pumps ideally the last 3 months of the year. But before those last 3 months, so before maybe October or September, you have some downtrend. So which is why I'm anticipating a downtrend of US 30 at some point, because if US 30 does start that downtrend, we might go to back all the way down this way, and then sometime in October, because we are what, June, July. Yeah. So wait, let me go on a higher time frame. Actually, let me do this. Go on the daily. Also, check on the trend lines. Check the trend lines on the daily time frame. Now, there's this trend line on US 30 on the daily time frame right here, and I know at some point I did expect it to come here. So if we do get that downtrend before September, October, US 30 can retest this trend line on the daily. So US 30 can come to 33,600 area and then possibly reverse from there the last 3 months of the year. But I'm definitely anticipating some meltdown for US 30 at some point before September, October, November, December. So before October. Yeah, but also with the trend lines, be also checking on the daily, on the 4 hour, and see if there's another major trend line that you can use. But there's that one trend line on the hourly, on the daily time frame for US 30 that may get retested sometime. Gold is still pumping. We're almost at TP, just 30 more pips. So another confluence that helps me hold trades like this, right, which is the reason I moved to the hourly time frame. I ask myself, where is gold likely to head, right? Like right now, gold is in no man's land. It's already retested this bottom trend line so heavily, so many times. So where is the next best area for gold to head to? You have that region. So at that point, it just gives me confluence. As much as it's 100 pip move, it gives me confluence to hold the trade this much, because I know gold ideally should retest this static trend line. Because if we go back, right, this static trend line comes from, so remember how I told you guys, if you have like multiple points of structure, so you have this one, you have this one, you have this one. So if number 1 and number 2 cannot connect number 1 and number 3. So here I can as very well just start this trend line here. Since both of these are lower highs, I might as well just start it there. It would still connect to 1 and 2 for this particular one. The reason here, and again, never force a trend line, right? Because here there was nothing to draw. Is this gold? Yeah, this is gold. So here there's nothing to draw. Because I normally mentioned, don't let your trend lines cut through price, right? So here, this trend line right here, you would just be forcing it because it's cutting through price. So let trend lines cut through price in future, but not you make them cut through price, if that makes sense. Also, it's difficult to draw trend lines in periods where price is just consolidating, which is what gold has been doing for the last few areas.
TP on gold.
TP, good stuff. What'd you make? 1%? Oh, I got TP too. There we go. A nice 1%. So I unfortunately for me, I'm break even for the day due to that US 30 trade from last week. But nice. Livy, I know you also hit full TP, right? Because I think your TP was wait. How am I?
No,
Oh,
mine's 80. I'm still holding, but I might hold it. I'm
okay.
gonna move it.
Yeah, it should be good. Oh, unfortunately, I'm down 1% because the US 30 trade that I had taken, I took it with 2%. But it is what it is, right? It's part of the journey. Yeah, so full TP on gold right there for a gain of 1%. So this month, right, we're up 2%. Compare this with like the month of May when we were trading just 0.5 risk, right? So it's just important to look for those trades that, so always set a threshold for you, right? So say that for me to take a trade, it has to be at least 70%. And that right, no more or probably more, but no less than 70%. And if you do that, what you see, like what we just analyzed with gold today, I told you guys I actually wasn't going to trade gold today because, right, I didn't have any confluence with an order block or anything. I didn't have a confluence using the breakout scanner, but we used this golden cross or with the crosses indicator, and we stuck to our strategies, right? First 3 to 4 trades. If this trade right here was the 5th trade, I wouldn't have taken that trade on gold as much as it maybe would have hit TP. But what did I do? I just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I just looked for another re-entry. So right now, even though we do get another buy on gold, I'm not going to take it based off of this. Not to say that it wouldn't hit full TP, but my strategy for this one is first 3 to 4 trades, because if I was trading this buys, keep in mind I would have risked like 1% for each buy. So if I was trading all of these buys, I would have made already 4%. And if you guys know me, you know I don't trade gold on the crosses indicator because you want to avoid consolidating periods, and unfortunately gold consolidates quite a bunch. But not to say you can't. We just found a nice entry, but you just have to, as much as gold can consolidate using the crosses indicator, you just have to find other confluences out there. So right here, the confluence for taking this trade, as much as we do know gold consolidates using this indicator, yes, we got a buy right there. But also on our hourly time frame, we do know where gold is likely to head, and gold is likely to head to 1990 sometime today or tomorrow. So that was the second confluence, and that gave us an entry for gold. Also, right, we are looking at this area where gold has been consolidating on this static trend line, and you can see gold eventually broke out of it. So it wasn't an 80% probability like I would have wanted, but 70% is good for me. Any questions regarding anything we've taken on gold? And look at the importance of trend lines and just knowing how to draw them. I won't say properly, because it's drawing trend lines is sometimes relative, but just stick to making trend lines connect to at least 2 points of structure. And then, right, how you know a trend line is valid is that in future, that trend line, so when I drew this trend line, I only drew it from this lower low to this high low. Literally all of this was just what price did. So what you want to see in the future of a trend line you've drawn is that price is sticking to that trend line. So that gives you confluence in the future to enter a trade or to find a direction of bias for a trade. So right here, if we did have a sell entry or even a buy entry for EU, it's an entry we could take, because we know that this trend line got retested here and it's getting retested here. And if we have any confluences for a sell or a buy here, we can easily use that as an additional confluence. So think of trend lines as a gift to your future self. Because not every day, like today, right? Today, I wouldn't have taken a trade on gold. But because I'd drawn trend lines in the past, it gave me a direction of where gold is likely to head. Let me just update this.
What's the safest place to re-enter buy on gold?
Safest,
In the not EMA?
So safest place to re-enter buy on gold. So so for right now, the crosses indicator does not help us, because crosses indicator, we've already exhausted the first 4 trades. You can take a 5th one, but I wouldn't recommend that. So if for me, I was looking for a buy on gold, let me see what gold has on the breakout scanner and see if we have any retest there. Wonder right there. Also for me, for my charts with US 30, NAS, and gold, I use Oanda. If you use other providers, sometimes your order blocks might be different from my own. Also, if you use different candlestick patterns like Heikin-Ashi, your order blocks might be different from mine, because it changes the algorithm of the indicators. But for FX pairs, like EU, I just use the first one that comes up, which is, I think, FXM. Just by the way. So for FX pairs, I use the FXM chart, but that was just a by the way. So gold, right now, based off of the breakout scanner, would be another reentry would be, yes, the retests. Yeah, even the breakout scanner, I don't see a reentry, because the only way I would have seen a reentry of gold on the breakout scanner is if, let's assume, there was a buy indicator right here, or a buy signal on this candle, and gold shot all the way up, right? That's the only time. And then you miss the buy on gold. That's the only time I would have said, wait for a retest of the 9 EMA. So normally when I wait for the retest of the 9 EMA, it's because I've missed a trade. So right now I can say I missed this buy all the way down here. So the breakout scanner does not give me a re-entry on gold. The crosses indicator does not give me a re-entry on gold. What else do we have? Let's see what the reversal indicator is telling us based off of buys, right? Because the reversal indicator can also give us an entry on the right there. Okay, so, and we would be looking, so let's turn on both buys and sells. I don't see, so keep in mind, using the reversal indicator, you would also need to use our strategies. So you'd need a proper trend. Wait, let me turn off the sells for now. Let me put this on 1, let me put this on 50. So on the 5 minutes, really, I don't see a trend. 15 minute, Oh, I turned off the buys, turn off the sells. So there was a buy down here. I do see a clear trend on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, to be honest, I don't see any re-entry based off of any of my strategies, unfortunately, for gold.
Thanks.
I'll wait for Livy's TP to hit before I end the session. I know Livy, you're about to hit TP. But if anybody else has any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask as we wait for Livy's TP to hit. But I'll just update this in the group real quick.
Yeah, it's dancing around it right now.
Right, that's that's that one time, that one part of being a trader, right? You don't know what to do, or not don't know what to do, but you're just stuck in that particular. No, it should hit. What do I want to do? I want to turn off this for now. Just send an update in the group. Yeah. And also it's a psychological level, so should get that retest.
So you think a lot of people might be trying to sell there?
Oh yeah, I used to be one of those people. I would be looking for sales on gold. Actually, yeah, if it was me 2 years ago, I would just be entering sales and getting burned. Yeah, but gold, it will go to 1990 either today or tomorrow.
Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but if it's a lot of sells there, it's probably a lot of stop losses at 1990 too.
Yeah. Plus, right, if for the people who are selling right now, they would put their stop losses where 1981, 1982. So I do see a spike that's gonna go like to 1985 to just wipe those people out. Yeah. Okay. And so this is also another reason why, right, I stick to these patterns. Like nowadays, I just wait for price to get to where I'm, because right now, based off of how I don't see any, as much as I expect gold to go all the way up, if I lack any entries for buys, I'll just wait for gold literally all the way up here. And then at this point, then I'll start looking for sells. So definitely, right, fewer trades, but on the other hand, right, gold can come here and I can easily do like a 2% risk or something, or even 1% and just make another 1% to the downside. But you can see that, right, if then gold breaks this part right there, we are headed, and this is the importance of these trend lines, we are headed the next stop, 2011. So you can see the possibility of where gold is likely to hit. Almost there, Livy. Just like it's like what, 0.7 pips, point.
Yeah, it's like 80.56 or something like that.
Oh, you're okay. You're 80.56.
I
Okay.
actually because I'm trying to make up, I took a couple L's early today, so I went 2.5 actually on this one.
Ooh, let's go. There you go, Livy. Full TP, right? Yeah. I don't know what broker you're using, but I'm using FTM when it's at 1981. Wait, I hope you hit full TP. Or maybe this guy hit TP and disappeared on us.
Yeah, I hit full TP. I'm trailing it now, though. I'm at 531. So I'm just, if it knocks me out, cool. If not, I went to 700 as a profit. So
Perfect. So
Got it.
you did you make back your loss?
Yeah, I made back. I'm actually over even now, so I made back my losses from today and yesterday.
Okay, perfect. And this is your phase 2, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. I was waiting on Livy to hit full TP. Does anybody have any questions? If not, we'll just call it a day and do this again tomorrow. All right, let's see if I'm missing anything. So US 30, for you to do anything with US 30, again, right? For you to, let's say you're looking for a buy and you have other okay, let's see what confluences we have for US 30 before I mark up, right? So nowadays, again, the way I trade, look for order blocks and the zones we are in. So right now we don't have any order block, whether it's a bullish, whether it's a bearish order block. So what this tells me is that just follow the trend. Even the zones that we are in, nothing to write home about for the zones we are in. Okay, so we go to the breakout scanner, we do US 30 right here. The entry for US 30 retest of the 9 EMA on the 15-minute time frame. That's the only entry for US 30 you can get. That is the only one. So breakout scanner, which has like a 70 to 80% win rate when used according to the strategies, telling us wait for the retest of the 9 EMA because that's the that's the safest entry, or that's the best entry. Actually, let me not put it that way. That's the most optimal entry, retest of the 9 EMA. Okay, perfect. Then we go to the crosses indicator. I know definitely the crosses indicator is not telling us anything because all the buys are over exhausted. I know there's like 15 back-to-back buys that hit TP, right? So the crosses indicator is telling me right here, I gave you a buy yesterday. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 buys I gave you yesterday would have hit TP. 1, the second one here, full TP. Third one here, full TP. The fourth one here, again, full TP if you're using a 200 pip TP and stop loss. So crosses indicator is telling me, as much as I can give you another buy in future, just know that you've reached your limit for the buys. So crosses indicator is telling you, yes, it can give you an entry. I have a 90 to 98% win rate if you use me based off of these strategies, but just know that if you keep pushing it, that win rate might shift to the downside. Okay, what else do we have? Give me one quick second. Okay, my bad. So yeah, where were we? So then there's a reversal indicator. I don't see, let's see what we have for US 30. US 30 in any case, so I got stopped out of this trade. That's the 15-minute time frame. US 30 is not really telling you anything if you're only looking for buys. So at that point, the only indicator that's gonna give you an entry on US 30 is the breakout scanner. And then of course we know EU is testing out this trend lines right here. So yeah, so until maybe tomorrow we'll get better entries once gold and once US 30 reaches these targets. But for now, and there you go, US 30, I'm sorry, gold still pumping. Yep. Any last questions before we call it a day?
Yeah, bro, just one. You know the reversal from 1930 before CPI.
For what? For gold?
Yeah, for gold. Looking at but do you think it's gonna keep pumping up before, like, could be a head and shoulder? Right.
On what time frame? Oh, on the hourly?
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely see. So for me to even think of a head and shoulder, I have to see price would have to be all the way. So let me give you an example. So I know there was a time we had a head and shoulder here. So for me to see this head and shoulder, so we have this right here, right here, right shoulder, and then drop. So for me to identify a head and shoulder, price has to be here. So price has to be forming the right shoulder, because right now, if I start anticipating a head and shoulder, right, price can keep skyrocketing, and you can see how far gold can go up. So right now, it is possible it can form a head and shoulder, but for me, I literally have to wait for the head to be formed, and then now start looking for an entry on a right shoulder.
So, what would you say about this? You know, the day before CPI, NFP, and FOMC, would you say to stay away from a reversal?
No, I mean right now for gold, I based off of what I've mentioned, if I were to sell gold, right, because for me, I identify areas that an instrument is headed. So for me to sell gold, it has to reach here. Then it has to reach here. I'm not selling gold not before any times before that. Again, my best sell area on gold, watch this daily bearish high. 1960 is the best sell area for gold for a long term. If you're looking for a long term meltdown to the downside, 1960 is your best entry. But until then, all you'd be looking for right now is continuations through these trend lines that are being drawn. So for me right now, I'll just stick to buys on gold. Buys until here. Then I observe what the price action on this trend line around 1991. I observe the price action. If I get a sell entry, I go ahead and enter it. If I do not, and I get a buy entry, guess what I'll do? I'll keep buying gold until 2013. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. If you're still trading, make sure to trade safe, make sure to use proper risk management. All right, bye guys.